부산영어방송.
새로운 다운이 디자이너 향수를 영감으로 재탄생한 섬유유연제. 세계적인 퍼퓸 매종과 협업한 다운이 7일간 피어나는 향수. 고급스럽고 섬세한 향의 조화를 이제 섬유유연제로. 다운이.
Hello everyone, I'm James from India. Ever since I was a young boy in India, I have been surrounded by different Korean products, and this instilled a dream in me to explore Korea one day. This chance came for me in 2014 when I began attending Busan National University as a graduate student in computer engineering. I have lived in Korea for over 7 years, and I even run my own business now, a company that is developing a platform based on artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. From my experience, I can say with an absolutely certainty that Busan was the best place for me to start my business, thanks to the specialized blockchain zone. In the past 7 years, Busan has become my second home, and I obviously love it here. Global City Busan, we are in it together. This campaign was brought to you by BFM 부산영어방송.
During the hot summer season, typhoons can make landfall here in Korea unexpectedly. To prepare for this type of situation, please follow these guidelines. First, close all doors and windows and stay inside. Listen to your radio or tune into your TV for more information and keep your weather radio handy.
태풍은 내일 새벽 3시.
Avoid dangerous places such as flood-prone areas and landslide hazard areas. Turn off all utilities such as gas and appliances. Do not go near construction sites or any hazardous areas where you may get swept away by rapids. Let's keep these things in mind so that we can all have a safe, hot summer season. This is brought to you by BFM 부산영어방송.
The time is now 2 o'clock.
Welcome to BFM News at 2. I'm David Kim. Kamala Harris, the Democratic presidential candidate, declared she will not cozy up to dictators like North Korea's Kim Jong-un, whom she accused of rooting for Donald Trump. In her nomination acceptance speech at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Harris criticized Trump's close ties with Kim, asserting that she stands firmly against tyranny. Harris told the cheering crowd that Trump is easily manipulated by autocrats because he desires to be one himself. The presidential office accused the Democratic Party of spreading false instigation regarding the risks of contaminated water released from Japan's Fukushima plant. Despite government reports showing safe radioactive levels in South Korean waters, opposition claims have fueled public fear. Presidential spokesperson Jung Hae-jun criticized the opposition for not apologizing and claimed the government could have saved 1.6 trillion won if fears had not been stoked. An electrical issue such as short circuit is suspected to have caused a fire at a Busan hotel, which left 7 dead and 12 injured, a fire officials said today. The fire, which started in room 810, quickly spread smoke throughout the building. The chief Cho Sun-ho noted that motels with narrow corridors and poor ventilation made evacuation difficult. An 84-person police team is investigating the cause of the fire at the 9-story hotel. In local news, Busan City will hold an anti-corruption and integrity special lecture for 700 employees from the city and district offices at the City Hall. Hosted by Busan City and organized by the Anti-Corruption Training Institute of the Anti-Corruption and Civil Rights Commission, the special lecture aims to highlight the importance of integrity through engaging and emotional content that combines integrity with various cultural performances such as plays and videos. The organizing committee of the Busan International Photography Festival announced today that the 8th Busan International Photography Festival will be held at the old warehouse of Busan Port's Pier 1 until September 22nd. The exhibition, themed A Midsummer Night's Dream, features over 150 works, ranging from straight photography to various photographic techniques and videos. A competition aimed at expanding the base of the robot industry and fostering talent in the fourth industrial revolution will be held in Busan. The city of Busan announced today that the 2024 14th Busan Robot Competition will take place at Bexco from August the 24th to the 25th. The competition features 7 categories, 4 for elementary school students and 3 for middle and high school students, with a total of 291 teams and over 560 participants. The Busan Metropolitan Office of Education announced today that it received the Excellence Award and Encouragement Award in the 2024 First Half Active Administration Best Practices Contest hosted by the Ministry of Education. The contest, which aims to promote a culture of active administration and discover various best practices, is held twice a year. In international news, the Canadian federal government has taken quick action to resolve an industrial dispute that halted operations at 2 of the country's largest railways, threatening North American supply chains. Labor Minister Steve McKinnon announced that railway operations should resume within days after sending both parties to final binding arbitration. And now taking a quick look at the weather here, Busan is under a heat wave warning with the mercury reading 33 degrees Celsius. Humidity levels have gone down to 68%, and the sunset tonight is at 7:02 p.m. And that'll have to do it for this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Coming up next is 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Do you remember when staycations became a thing during the financial crisis of 2007 to 2010? Despite many people choosing to stay home and be a tourist in their own city to save some cash, at the same time, the rise of low-budget vacationing also took off. With the average vacation costing about $1,200 per person, saving money is definitely serious business. In 2005, one rather famous accommodation sharing platform entered the market as an alternative for travelers to stay in homes at a typically cheaper rate than most hotels. This desire to save money holds true for air travel as well, which is why Cheap Flight Day is so popular. And today we're going to talk all about Cheap Flight Day. It's Friday, August 23rd. This is the 2 p.m. Reboot. Let's get it started. You're listening to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and that song was Fly By Night by Rush. Rush's drummer and lyricist Neil Peart actually wrote that song about his first trip away from home. Way back in 1971, at the age of 18, he was kind of just driven by his musical ambitions, but also an insatiable desire to travel and explore and learn about everything. So he decided to escape the narrow world of his small-town Canadian life and flew to England. And that first great trip started an exhilarating life. And I think he's probably glad that he took that trip because he went on to world fame after that. Became one of the most famous drummers ever. Well done. Today actually is Cheap Flight Day. Today, August 23rd. It is indeed Cheap Flight Day. This day was created in 2017 to encourage travelers everywhere to take advantage of cheap flights and make their dream trips a reality. Sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? But whether you're looking for a weekend getaway or just, your typical international adventure, Cheap Flight Day is the perfect time to take advantage of end-of-season travel deals. And I'm really curious. I'm wondering how much of a discount you can get. I'm going to do some research during the show. I want to see, where would I like to fly first? I'll think about it. You're listening to us here live from the studio in Busan on this Friday afternoon. Welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us. You're listening to us on BEFM 90.5 here in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul, we're broadcasting on TBS EFM 101.3 FM, and in Gwangju, we're on GGN 98.7 FM, and we're also on the YouTube. If you'd like to come check us out there as well, you can just go search. I'll do it right now. Here I am. I'm clicking on BEFM right there. It's not responding, but it probably works for you. I guess my computer's a little slow today. All you got to do is search BEFM or Busan영어방송, and then you can see me streaming right there. I'm very patterned today. I don't know what kind of pattern it is. It's kind of Manic Friday, I guess. I do want to let you know, however, if you join us on YouTube, because of a music copyright issue, we won't be able to stream the music there, so you'll notice that the songs are muted while they're playing here live on the radio. We do apologize for the inconvenience. However, of course, the show will be played completely uninterrupted on FM radio, wherever you might be listening to it. And also, we do have our very own smartphone app. If you want to go to the App Store on your phone and just search BEFM or 부산영어방송, you can download the app there, and you can take the show with us wherever you go, or with us, all together. We're all together on this Friday. And you can listen to the show wherever you go, uninterrupted. And you can also log in and send us some messages if you'd like. So that's a pretty cool thing. And we hope to settle the music copyright issue as soon as possible. So we apologize for that inconvenience. And we do have a lot coming up on the show for you today. So definitely stay tuned. In hour number 1, we've got Hot Off the Press. We're going to play 2 new songs that have recently been released and give you some background information about the artists and the songs they've created. And there's a couple big names I see on the list today. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars together. Is that possible? Cool. So we'll check out those songs. And after that, we're going to have Jeff in the studio for Weekend Wanderer because it's Friday. And Jeff likes to keep us up to date with all the things happening in and around Busan and the Seoul area as well. So we love that because, come on, it's time to plan what we're going to do this weekend, right? In hour number 2, we're going to have our daily list. And as we're talking about today being Cheap Flight Day, which that basically says what it is. It's a very basic name, straight to the point, right? So our daily list, we're actually going to cover tips to grab the cheapest flight tickets. Perhaps maybe tips that are besides just, looking and waiting for today to pop up, once a year or whatever that is. And then also, today is Friday, so we get to do a special segment called Friday Spotlight. I look forward to this every Friday. We're going to introduce some local musicians here in Busan or nearby, or musicians who have come to perform here in Busan. And this week, we've got some people that are close to Busan. They live in Changwon. The band name is Paper River, and I got the opportunity to recently interview them, and we'll listen to some songs of theirs as well. So I'm very excited about that. And at the end of the show, we'll have our perfect playlist. We do this every day, Monday through Friday. We've got a different theme for you every week. The theme this week has been freedom. And we've got 2 more songs for you on that theme for today as well. Ooh, one of my favorite bands on the list as well. Cool. So I'm excited about that as well. And I will be checking your messages throughout the show as long as it works. My computer seems to be not responding, but I'll work on that. I do have a question I would like to ask you. You could tell me how you're doing today, of course, how your week was, how the weather is where you're at. But my question of the day about flights, because we're talking about cheap flight day. If you get a plane ticket with a 90% discounted price, is that actually possible? 90%? Wow, that's a pretty good discount. If you're able to get a plane ticket with a 90% discounted price, where would you like to go? So in the spirit of cheap flight day, 90% 할인된 가격으로 비행기 티켓을 구한다면, 어디로 가고 싶으신가요? You can reach us here at shop 9050 or pound 9050 for 100 won. You can reach us for free on Kakao Talk. If you just search BEFM or Busan 영어방송 in the app, then you can just add us there and send us messages. And as I mentioned before, we have our very own smartphone app you can download as well. Just search BEFM or Busan 영어방송 in your smartphone's app store there. And you can download that for free. And you can message us that way. You can also message us on YouTube as well. As long as I can check it. I'll try again. I don't know. Something's not working there for me, but there we go. Ah, yay. Okay, I'm in. Sweet. I can see myself in my striped shirt. Looks like some kind of 3D illusion. And hello to everybody in the chat there. So you can message us any one of those ways. Tell me where you'd like to go. I would like to go right back to Atlanta International Airport because I paid probably 90% more than I should have when I flew there recently. So if I can get 90% of a discount, maybe that would feel like kind of evening it out perhaps a little bit. Yeah, I would like to do that vacation over again. I do want to let you know as well, there's still a heat wave warning in effect in most parts of the country here. So try to avoid outdoor activities as much as possible. When you do go out, be sure to wear light clothing or a wide-brimmed hat and carry a water bottle with you. If you're at construction sites, strictly adhere to heat safety rules. Make sure to get enough water, enough shade, and enough rest, and actively implement heat wave break times during the hottest hours of the day. To thoroughly prepare for the heat wave, drink enough water and make sure to take short breaks as much as possible. If you do have symptoms such as dizziness, nausea, or a headache, definitely find a cool place to take a rest. And that is good advice to stick with because the heat wave seems to be ongoing. So please be careful out there. And we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Everybody Needs Somebody to Love by the Blues Brothers. And then we'll be back with Hot Off the Press. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard the song Everybody Needs Somebody to Love by the Blues Brothers. And now it is time for Hot Off the Press. We do this every Monday through Friday. We bring you two of the newest, hottest songs from around the world of music. And we know there's a lot to keep up with. It's hard for me too. But we try to pick songs that we think you're going to enjoy for you every day. And I think our two songs today are no exception. The first song is, I guess, a big duet. This is Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. And this song is actually like the first new headlining music in years from both artists. So it's interesting that they decided to release something together. The last one Bruno Mars had was his Grammy-winning Silk Sonic project with Anderson .Paak about 2 years ago. And Lady Gaga was in 2020 with her Chromatica album. She did, however, recently make a show-stopping appearance with the Rolling Stones on Sweet Sounds of Heaven from Hackney Diamonds last year, so there was that as well. And she's also going to be starring in the upcoming comic book musical Joker Folie à Deux. I kid you not, I had no idea about this. It features singing, but it's unlike anything she's ever done before, she said recently in an interview with Empire. And the Grammy and Oscar-winning star is going to be opposite Joaquin Phoenix in the movie. Her character will be Lee, which is a reimagining of Harley Quinn. That sounds like a very interesting combination there. The first Joker movie featuring Joaquin Phoenix was very interesting, to say the least. So I might have to buy an early ticket for that one. Our second song for today is called Find the Way by Peggy Gou. Peggy Gou is a Korean-born, Berlin-based producer who has returned with her latest single called Find the Way. This is the first new track since the release of her debut album called I Hear You. And this latest single kind of builds on her recent sonic terrain. She's making a midsummer bid for the song of the season. Good luck with that. It's a little late in the season, but she might get it because in the song Find the Way, Gou addictively blends her featherlight, breezy vocals with a balmy, Technicolor 90s house beat, lush mellow keys, acid-tinged synths, and hypnotic bass lines. See what you think. Can this possibly be the song of the summer this late into the game? We'll check it out and see. Our first song up today is Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, followed by Find the Way by Peggy Gou. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard the song Find the Way by Peggy Goo, and that was definitely a throwback 90s house beat for sure. And before that, you heard Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. And those are our two songs for today's Hot Off the Press. And I got a bunch of answers for today's question of the day. I guess people love cheap tickets. I do too. Honestly, I wish I had the ability to get a cheaper plane ticket this year, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. The question was, if you get a plane ticket with a 90% discounted price, where would you like to go? 90% 할인된 가격으로 비행기 티켓을 구한다면 어디로 가고 싶으신가요? Wow, that's a long question. I made it through it somehow. I've got some messages from, let's see. 목동민님 says, Chicago. 왜냐면 친구 만나러. Oh, okay, cool. So you got a friend in Chicago. That's a great reason to go visit someplace. Insunim says, if the ticket is 90% discounted, I will travel to Europe. That sounds pretty wide open. We went from very specific one city, Chicago, to anywhere in Europe. Cool. I mean, I guess you got to be flexible when you're picking on cheap flight day. I mean, I don't know where the cheap flights might be. It could be anywhere, or it could be like very limited. I don't know how that works. Miok Stelinium says, I want to go as far as I can on a direct flight. Yes. So as far as possible. I guess that would be like completely 180 degrees around the globe. Where would that be? I guess that might land you somewhere in the U.S., perhaps. Yeah, wherever daylight is completely the opposite. Cool. That's, yeah. I get it. Sometimes you want to get as far away as possible. I got another message from Soinim on the NawTube there saying, let's see. Just imagining it makes me happy. Just imagining the 90% discount. Sure. I think it makes a lot of people happy because flights have been extremely expensive ever since the pandemic, and the prices do not seem to really be coming down. Jogum Tongnim says, I would like a flight to Gdansk, which is in Poland, I learned earlier this week. Amongst other things, a fascinating history of that city. It's under 25 degrees in summer months for other reasons as well. Wow, that's a good choice. 25 degrees sounds about perfect to me right now. Gihan Nim says, if there's a 90% discount, I would like to go to my home country, Sri Lanka. But no matter how much of a discount I get, the problem is I don't have the holiday to go there. That's the other problem, right? You got to make sure you have enough time to go somewhere. You got to probably put in some word a little bit in advance at work, right? But hey, I would like to go to Sri Lanka. Is that okay? Check first, right? For sure. Cool. Keep your messages coming. If you want to reach us here, you can reach us at 샵9050 or pound 9050 for 101. You can reach us for free on the KakaoTalk app, or you can download our smartphone app. In either case, you can just search BEFM or 부산영어방송 and message us for free that way. And of course, you can message us on NawTube as well. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Jeff and Weekend Wanderer. All right, that music means it's time for Weekend Wanderer with Jeff. Good afternoon, Jeff. Good to see you again.
It's been a long time.
It has been a while.
I actually realized just now that it's been since the end of June is the last time we actually saw each other.
Oh, yeah, right. Right, because you went on vacation, right? You went on vacation a couple times, right?
Yeah.
And then, I actually had to go to the U.S. for a couple weeks myself. So, we haven't seen each other in a bit. Have you been okay? You've been doing
good, been good.
Enjoying the heat wave?
Yeah, like I said, it's cooler than it was where I was, so
yeah, yes. For reference, Jeff was in Phoenix, Arizona. What was the temperature there?
45 degrees Celsius.
Can you imagine? 45. Right now I think they said the averages are 31, 32. I've been hearing today, right? And I'm not enjoying that in any way, shape, or form.
It's the humidity here.
Right.
That's what makes it more. I mean, it was 115 degrees. It was like 45 Celsius in Phoenix. But it's a dry heat,
which
is
0%?
Very different. Yeah, very little humidity. So, But I mean, when I came back and I stepped out of the airport at Incheon, I just immediately was drenched.
Right.
But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is what this heat feels like. It's very different. So
very different. Yeah. So sometimes the number doesn't say everything, right? But I guess humidity is a number as well. So Jeff, I actually had a question for you to answer as well, if you'd like. If you got the chance to get a plane ticket with a 90% discounted price, where would you like to go?
I like the Sri Lanka answer actually, because that was always on my list of places to go, and I almost went once. However, I ended up going to Myanmar instead.
Oh, wow.
at that time, which in a way now I'm kind of lucky that I did because there's no getting back into Myanmar.
Yeah, the timing was probably very lucky, I'm assuming, for that.
So Sri Lanka, high up on my list, but right now I really want to go to Dubai.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but that's just kind of my place that I really want to go to right now.
I imagine there are so many available flights there. It seems like everyone I've ever talked to recently, if they're taking long flights and they have a stopover, it seems like they all stop in Dubai.
Yeah,
so it
Dubai
seems
or
like,
Abu Dhabi, but I mean,
right?
Yeah, so I'm going to start planning that at some point. I don't know when I'm going to go or if I'm going to go, but that's kind of on my list right now is Dubai.
I would assume it's a dry heat there as well.
Yeah.
Being close to the desert. Do you think it would be more comfortable there right now than it is here?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know if I would go right now or if I'd wait. I wonder what the weather like is in Dubai in, the wintertime.
Yeah, like I haven't even priced flights or anything like that. I haven't gotten
Right.
to that stage yet.
Right.
But that is definitely somewhere that I'm thinking that I want to go see at some point in the future.
Very cool. Well, I'll let you go first and tell me how it is.
All right.
Yeah,
I
for
can do that.
I've got no money to go anywhere, right? Even with a 90% discounted ticket. It's not fun being broke, for sure. But we're here for Weekend Wanderer, and Jeff comes in every Friday to tell us what's happening in and around Busan and the Seoul area as well. So what are we going to talk about today?
First news that we're going to start is about Gamcheon Village
Okay.
and the concerns of over-tourism. Now, this has been a problem that's been going on for years.
Right.
Where there's so many people that go to visit Gamcheon Village. It's one of the city's most popular attractions. 2.76 million people visited last year in the Gamcheon Village.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, you have to remember, this is a place where people live.
Right.
And so if you live there and have that amount of tourists, it's going to be maybe annoying a little bit for the villagers who live there. And they're actually, I don't know if people even know this, so back in 2012, the population of the village was 9,677 people, and it's now down to 5,668.
So a lot of people have had
people
enough.
have left.
Yeah.
But again, so what Sahagu has decided to do is to come up with a plan to develop new tourism content that highlights the unique history and culture of the village.
Right.
So they're going to develop Chunma Village, which is across the road from Gamcheon Village, into a new tourism hub. So they're going to kind of move it, not just have that, but just also kind of move it across the street. So they want to improve the roads. They want to expand Okcheon Road, which is the main road that leads to the village, from 2 lanes
Okay.
to 4. So they're looking to basically just help the residents of the area to be able to live a little bit better because of all the tourists who go there, and then also build some new tourism infrastructure around there. So
I was just thinking, because I imagine it's a lot of tour buses that go up, right? And if the roads are only 2 lanes, I mean, if you've ever been to Busan, the mountain roads typically get to be very narrow, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine that once the buses are up there, like nobody can pass them, or
yeah, and I mean, traffic in Busan, if you've never been here, is always congested.
Oh, especially today. Look out today if you're driving in Busan. It's bad today.
So yeah, I mean, it's the only city in the country basically that basically is going off their old road structure.
Ah, right.
Because everywhere else was affected by the war, so they basically had to rebuild everything. But Busan was never really rebuilt like that.
Right.
So a lot
Interesting.
of the old, I mean, that's why we have a 2-lane road that goes from the center of the city to the airport. It's like the Dongsa-Gogoro. It's only 2 lanes in a city of,
And that's one of the main highways.
3.5 million.
Right.
So they've always wanted to do something with that. There's been a lot of news of tearing that down because they're building the new one that goes basically around Hyundai. It goes out that way. So
We'll see when that happens, though, because that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
And then, you just think about all the areas that would affect it with that construction. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people upset when that's being built. But it'll have to be done, right? And I guess it's the same idea with Gamcheon Village. Something has to be done for the residents that are still there. Like half of the people basically have left.
Yeah.
Right.
So, anyways, moving along.
All right.
The Pompidou Center. So, do you know what the Pompidou Center is?
No, I was looking at Pompidou Center. This first I've heard of it.
Okay, so the Pompidou Center is like the big, famous museum from France.
Okay.
And so Busan is actually getting a permanent facility. I mean, at first when they were trying to get it here, people thought it would just be like Seoul is also getting one as well.
Okay.
That's going to be in the 63 building. But it's only going to be temporary. Busan's is actually going to be permanent.
Oh, I see. So basically, it's a museum that has been in a certain location, and it can be just like a temporary setup, but
Yeah.
they've decided to make it a permanent thing here.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be located near Igide Parks, Ulmadang. And it's going to feature an exhibition hall, creative spaces, storage, community hall, an education room, and an outdoor park. It's going to be quite big. It's on a site of 30,000 square meters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. But that's the big news is that it's going to be a permanent facility, and especially because they're really looking to develop Igide into this big arts and culture center.
Interesting, because if you haven't been to Igide, it's basically, I guess the best way to describe it is a hillside, almost mountain park right next to the ocean.
Right. So they're using this as what's called the Igide Art Park.
Okay.
Which is like the tentative name for it right now. But so they want to transform Igide into a world-class tourist destination where art, nature, and ecology converge.
Oh, man, my neighborhood's about to get even more busy. Oh,
Yes,
no.
sir.
I live close to there. Okay. But cool. I mean, that's exciting, though. I mean, I understand wanting to make things, more attractive to tourists, but locals as well, I think, will appreciate that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I would. I'm a big art fan, so I would love to be able to check that out. What's the idea? What kind of art do they have?
Not exactly sure. I've never been to Paris, so I've never been to that museum. But
Oh, so the original is actually a museum in
Yeah.
Paris, and they kind of, I guess they make like
believe it's in
pop-up
Paris.
museums.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So I did see that the Pompidou Center is a leading institution for 20th and 21st century art. They've got the largest collection of works by modern masters such as Picasso and Richter. So I imagine they might loan out their arts, their permanent collection, to these pop-up locations that they
Yeah.
had, and now we're going to have a permanent one? Oh, very cool. I like that.
yeah, so let's see what happens, but that is the plan.
Very
as of
cool.
now.
Very cool. What do we got next?
We've talked about this a couple times, but it still needs to be talked about again because if you're going to the beach, the jellyfish sting incidents just keep happening and happening and happening. There's
For
a
real?
451% increase this year.
Wow, that is a big increase. Okay, from just last year to this year, a 451% increase?
Sting incidents have actually surged by 810%.
Wow, man.
So if the beaches that are getting the highest incidents are Songjung,
Uh-oh. There goes my
Songdo,
weekend plans.
Hwangali, and then Haeundae. But Songjung has 228 cases
Wow.
of jellyfish.
Just this year?
Just this year.
That's amazing. And you know what? I did notice, we were just talking about Igide. The last time I was in the Igide area, there's a coastal walk, it's like basically a series of bridges and, walkways. I guess like a boardwalk that's kind of elevated, right?
Yeah.
And I was spotting jellyfish out in the water.
And they're huge.
Yes.
So these are the Nomura jellyfish, which basically they're like a highly venomous species that come in from China, the waters of
man.
China. The concentration of these things per hectare is 108, which is the highest since they've started doing records. So if you get bit by one, so here's what can happen. Swelling, fever, muscle paralysis, breathing difficulties, and shock.
Wow. So
So-
avoid them at all costs.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're trying to basically, they're catching between 250 kilograms of these things, which is like 5 times the normal amount.
My
So,
goodness.
Be careful, again, if you're going into the water, especially around Songjung and Songdo, because those are the 2 biggest ones. But, yeah, jellyfish.
I appreciate the advice because actually we were just talking about weekend plans and Songjung had kind of come up and now I'm kind of like, well, I've got 2 young children. Do I want them getting stung by severely venomous jellyfish?
Yeah, and they come right up.
Yeah.
I mean, they come right up to the water, like where the water and the beach converge. I say, like,
Right.
It's not like you can just walk in and go all the way in and like, okay, I'm going to get stung by a jellyfish.
Right.
You can just walk in a couple feet.
And they'll be right there.
And they'll be right there.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? That's really good to know. And, I actually am a big fan of the jellyfish that you can eat. I guarantee you probably cannot eat this variety of jellyfish. So it's like when they catch them, what do? Just toss them out into the deep ocean. I wonder what happens with them. But otherwise, I would be happy to eat them because that would mean one less to get stung by. But that's good to know that.
A little bit poisonous, so you
Yeah.
might want to avoid that.
Yeah, so don't eat these jellyfish. Don't get that idea like I did. What do we got next?
Okay, last bit of travel news, and this is starting to be a little bit of concern, which is about the new Gadeok-do new airport that's planning to be built, and they're failing to find a company for the construction of it.
Oh, that seems like an important part of the process.
You would think, yeah. So they're thinking like what's already being talked about possibly is that the delay, it could be delayed until like the 2029 opening could be delayed already.
Okay.
Because they can't find a bidder to win the bid.
Right. And I wonder, like, how you entice, companies. If nobody's lining up to do it yet, I mean, that means you got to up how much you're willing to pay. Obviously, that's the problem, I'm guessing, right?
And a lot of the top 10 construction firms in the country have already said that they're not going to participate in the project. So
just straight out said that.
Yeah.
And I guess that means because the bidding is too low.
I guess. So initially the bidding was set to open on November 19th, but they're already going into the fourth round. So the date's actually been pushed back to March 25th. So, yeah, it's getting to be a really, I don't know how you can say it. It's not looking good for the beginning of what they hoped would be an opening in 2029.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about all the infrastructure that needs to be, not just the airport itself, but all the roads that need to be redone surrounding
Parking,
the area.
Everything.
Right, and that has to be started as soon as possible if they're aiming for 2029, because we're already that would be like 5 years from now roughly, and if they're not getting any bids at all, I wonder how they're going to rectify that. Do they have a plan of any kind to what to do as a fallback to get businesses interested, or?
They don't know, honestly.
Right.
They can negotiate the contract, but it's going to take several months even to finalize when they get somebody. So it's going to still take a lot of time to get this process going.
Right. And, I guess I wonder about the people who were not originally happy about the plan, being the idea of building an airport there to begin with. Mm-hmm. Does that put them like even more in limbo because they were counting on a specific date? Like, okay, it will be done by this, or it will be started by this.
Well, I think anytime plans are made, there's always, because they're not final. So, you're always going to be kind of in limbo for dates until something actually gets set in stone.
Right.
And so nothing's been set in stone yet other than that they want to build this airport.
And wanting to do it and actually starting doing it is obviously two different things, right?
Right.
Well, I guess, is there anything we can look forward to in news about that probably coming up? We'll probably hear about it. This will be constantly updated, I imagine, right?
Yeah. Again, they're just going to have to wait for more bids until the fourth round of bidding is over. Then hopefully they can go from there.
Right. Would it be weird, do you think? I'm perfectly happy with the arrangement as it is, going to Gimhae Airport. Do you think that'll be a convenient option for us that live here in Busan, or do you think it'll just be... what the plan was when that opens, like Gimhae will be kind of operated as well. We'll have two airports, I guess, is the idea.
I would assume Gimhae would probably turn into a domestic one, whereas
kind of like the Gimpo of Seoul.
Yeah, and Gadeok would be the international one. But again, the big thing with Gadeok is 24 hours, and the ability to fly longer distances.
Right.
So that's why the need for the airport. If Busan vision is for the big international city and without having to fly into Seoul every time.
Right.
Because, again, everything at Kimho is almost everything is an LLC flight.
Right.
Or an LCC, sorry.
Yeah, low-cost carrier.
Yeah, so
I had to think about it.
Almost 95% of the flights are LCC.
Right.
So in order to get the bigger airlines to be attracted to come here, they need the new airport.
Right. So they've got to get on it then, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll definitely, I'm sure we'll get updates on that for sure. Is that it for news for today?
Yeah. So let's get into the events real quick because I don't think we have time for a music break.
Yeah. We'll go straight to the events. No problem.
Okay. Concerts this weekend in Busan. Shininru at Sangsang Madang Live Hall on Saturday. The Starry Sea Busan Night Music Camp Nick going on again Saturday and Sunday at 5. Jongmo Jeriak. This is going on at the Cultural Center. So this is the first time it's ever been done by the Royal Ancestral Shrine Ritual Music and Dance of Korea. First time ever in Busan.
Then it sounds like something not to miss.
Yeah. So live on Busan in Bexco Auditorium features a live performance from Park Chung-gun. Also going on, the Photo Festival gets underway at storage at Pier 1 at Busan Port. The International Comedy Festival gets underway this weekend. The Asian Film Festival at Cinema Center, which got underway yesterday, is going on. Mad Stars finishes up today at Bexco. The BWC Wedding Festival going on through Sunday. There's a Busan Book Content Fair also at Bexco going on. Yurari Gunmak is going on at Yurari Square. This is out in Junggu. So this features flea markets, food, and beer.
Oh, good
Yeah,
combination.
so it's a dried seafood and craft beer festival.
Oh, very interesting. Are you a fan of dried seafood with craft beer?
Craft beer?
Yeah, the craft beer part.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it depends on what kind of dry seafood I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming
the only
that
thing
means...
I'm just thinking is like ojinga or something like
Yeah,
that.
ojingo. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like a variety of flavors of ojingo plus
Yeah.
craft beer. Interesting mix for sure.
Yeah. And also Saturday going on at Gadok Stadium, the iPark are playing Kimpo.
Oh, very cool. All right.
Solo-wise, Soul Forest Blue Night Festival. So at the Soul Forest outdoor stage, it's going to be like magic and bubble shows and band performances. So it's a big program. There's a lot of moonlight busking. There's like what they call a water gallery, giant flower works and watercolor exhibitions. So heading into the park, it's free of charge. Lots of things to do up in Seoul. Also, there's a Soul Forest star counting event going on as well. This is going on through Sunday at the outdoor stage of Solom Garden. Concerts up in Seoul. K-World Dream Awards going on tonight at Jamsil Indoor Stadium. Suede.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, okay. It's been a while since I've heard Suede touring, but
Yeah.
okay, so they're touring and they're actually hitting here in Seoul.
Tonight, KBS Arena.
Check that out. All right,
Yeah.
very cool.
Traditional K-Rock Festa going on at KT Sangsang Madong in Hongdae. Our Nation at Hongdae Bander. Marcin at Musinsa Garage. Tomorrow, Chris James at Musinsa Garage. Pablo Ziegler Masterclass at Audio Guy Studio. Indie Autumn, at Hyundai Card Understage. Kimchi Kura Festival featuring Illustar going on tomorrow at COEX, Shinhan Card Atrium. Ganghan Ho, Lucy First World Tour, Stray Kids, Mint Festa, Sosangyak Fan Meeting. Lots going on.
Wow, very cool. All right. So there's a whole lot going on both here in Busan and in Seoul. So a lot of things to go check out. Anything particular you're going to do this weekend, do you think?
Rest.
Yeah. Take a break?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is a good weekend to do so. I imagine there's going to be a lot of people in and out of Busan over the weekend. We were thinking about hitting the beach. What would you advise? Which beach would you go to this weekend if you were me? Less jellyfish?
It depends how many people you want there. Now, for
Fewer.
me, like I said, for me, September starts my busy season, and October is my crazy season.
All right.
Because there's so many things going on. There's the film festival. I have to go up north to cover the LPGA for a weekend. But there's so many different things going on that for the next couple months that I'm going to be swamped. So I want to have my little rest period before I get into fall festival season here.
I got you. And that'll be something like to look forward to as well. Like festivals right now that are taking place, with all the heat advisories you got, you just kind of have to be ready to just chill.
Yeah.
But when the fall time festivals come around, is this something you can kind of enjoy all day long without that kind of fear, right?
Yeah, and with the weather being much nicer in the fall here, it's a lot easier to go outdoors and spend time outdoors.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to some of the ones you mentioned. For sure, the film festival, because around that time of year, it's actually cool outside. Yeah. Yes, I'm sure I'm not alone in wanting to have cooler weather for sure. But thanks, Jeff, for coming in for Weekend Wanderer as always on Friday. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
And have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right, and we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Believer by Imagine Dragons, and we'll be back at 3 p.m.
BEFM 부산 영어방송.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
부산영어 방송에서는 글로벌 허브 도시 부산의 차세대 글로벌 리더들을 위한 청소년 영어 말하기 대회를 개최합니다.
BFM has organized the English Speech Contest for the next leaders of the global hub city, Busan.
전통이 숨쉬는 문화교육 특구, 동래구의 청소년 홍보대사들이 이야기하는 세계 속의 도시로 발돋움할 동네는 어떤 모습일까요?
From the inspiring stories of the final 10 students of Dongdaegu, one of the representative cities in Busan, we can draw the future of Dongdae as well look forward to the bright future of the global hub city, Busan.
치열한 예선을 거쳐 선발된 최종 10명의 본선 대결, 그리고 참가 학생 모두가 함께 도전하는 팀 대항 퀴즈를 통해 지역 청소년들이 꿈꾸는 동네와 부산의 미래를 그려봅니다.
We invite you to the Dongdaegu English Speech Contest with BFM, the finals.
8월 24일 오후 2시 부산교육대학교에서 열리는 부산영어방송과 함께하는 동래구 영어 말하기 대회에 여러분의 많은 관심 부탁드립니다.
This event is hosted by Dongdae District Office and organized by BFM, Busan 영어방송.
The time is now 3 o'clock.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard the song Not For Long by B.O.B. featuring Trey Songz to kick off the second hour of the show. And that song, you could hear B.O.B. was rapping about a girl he's attracted to and desperately wants. I guess a lot of guys have been there. He's so confident that she will be with him despite the fact that she's dating someone else. I don't know if a lot of guys have been there. Perhaps, we'll see, I don't know. Let me know if you've ever been in that situation. I'm pretty sure if she's with somebody else, she's where she wants to be. The song was produced by Glee assistant music producer Mark Nyland Jr. with Pilo, who's a member of the production team The Invasion. The pair previously teamed up to supply the beat for Kevin Gates' In My Feelings, another song that's very catchy and gets stuck in your head. You're listening to us live here in the studio in Busan on this Friday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. You're listening to us on BEFM 90.5 here in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul, we're on TBS EFM 101.3 FM, and in Gwangju, we're on GGN 98.7 FM. Thanks for joining us wherever you might be today. I'm your host, Casey McKeever. Happy to be with you on this Friday afternoon, and I'm especially happy because it's nice and cool in the studio here, for sure. Oh, thank you, air conditioning. We've got a lot coming up for you on hour number 2. On the daily list today, we're going to talk about tips to grab the cheapest flight tickets because it turns out today is cheap flight day. I had no idea that was such a thing, but I'm glad to know that it's out there because, you know, some days you might just want to be like, where can I go today? And just point your finger on the map somewhere and get a cheap ticket. That sounds like a cool idea to me. But as one of our listeners mentioned before, you got to make sure you get time off of work beforehand, right? Don't just do it without telling anybody, I suppose. You don't want to do that, right? But maybe that's a reason that cheap flight day is on a Friday, perhaps. So hopefully people can enjoy the weekend and use it to their advantage that way. Also today, it is Friday, so we've got the Friday Spotlight coming up for you as well. Today we're going to introduce local-ish musicians who have come to here in Busan here to perform quite often. Well, not often, they say, but you'll hear. We're going to have an interview with Paper River coming up after the Daily List today, and I'm very excited to play the interview that I got to have with them recently and also a couple of their songs. I'm very sure that you'll enjoy it. And also, we've got our perfect playlist to end the show today. Our theme this week has been songs about freedom, so we'll have a couple more songs on that theme for you, and one of them by the Velvet Underground and one of them by the complete opposite of the Velvet Underground. You can't get more opposite of Iron Maiden. So very interesting what songs we've got coming up in the perfect playlist for you today. And I've been enjoying reading your messages also in the chat on the NawTube and wherever they've been coming in from. The question I was asking today is, if you get a plane ticket with a 90% discounted price, where would you like to go? 90% 할인된 가격으로 비행기 티켓을 구한다면 어디로 가고 싶으신가요? That was my question, and I've got a couple of messages here I'd like to share. Let's see. We've got from Jaebong Lee Nim, who says, I want to go to Fiji or New Zealand. Cool. Good choice. I have not been to either. That's a good, two good choices there. They have low-cost airlines in Europe now, so they can go there cheaply. I wonder for us here in Eastern Asia, I wonder getting to Fiji or New Zealand, would it be really expensive? I have to look into that. Yes, I haven't had time to do the search for cheap flight day yet, but those are two places I should check out. New Zealand, as far as I understand, can be quite expensive to get to. Fiji, I have no idea. If you got some background info, if you got some insider info we can use, let us know. Fiji, New Zealand, very cool. Yeah, for sure. And let's see, we've got 4704 NIM saying, I think going to Canada. The tickets are always expensive there. Yes, I have heard that from my Canadian friends. I guess especially since the pandemic, the tickets to Canada and the U.S. in general just have been outrageously expensive. Question for you, 4704 NIM. Where in Canada would you like to go? It's a rather large country, and there's so much ground to cover there. Would you rather go to a city, or would you rather go to kind of the countryside area of Canada, which a lot of Canada, I guess, technically is countryside, right? Perhaps cold countryside, but countryside nonetheless. Cool. So Canada, another good choice. Yeah, I wonder how the tickets are faring on cheap flight day to Canada. So yes, if you want to send us a message, let us know where you'd like to go with a 90% discounted ticket. You can reach us at Shop Gugong Ogong or pound 9050 for 100 won. You can reach us for free if you go to the KakaoTalk app and just search BEFM or Busan영어방송. You can add us and then send us messages that way. We also have our very own smartphone app. If you go to the App Store on your phone, doesn't matter what phone, doesn't matter what App Store, you just search BEFM or 부산영어방송, download the app, take us with you wherever you're going. You could take us on the subway, take us on the bus, take us out for a walk in a cool, shaded area, hopefully. And you can also log in there and send us comments as well. And also, I'm getting plenty of comments on the NoTube chat as well. So feel free to reach us any way you like and let me know where you'd like to go with a cheap ticket. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to the song Tropicali by Darius and Finlay, and then we'll be back with our daily list. You're listening to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and that last song was Tropicali by Darius and Finlay. And I enjoyed that. That kind of made me want to travel as well. Just the kind of theme. It felt like, yeah, tropical, right? Going to an island, partying. I guess that's all that song was about. But right now, we're about the daily list, and it's kind of related. We're looking for tips to grab the cheapest flight tickets today. So we've got a list of recommendations, tips to get you a cheap ticket because airline travel is really not that cheap these days, right? And there are so many things you can do to try to find cheaper tickets. But some of these, might be country specific, might not be. But the ones we got for you today, I think will work in many cases, no matter where you might be at. Number one, book flights as early as possible. I think that is something a lot of people know, but you kind of tend to forget it, right? So basically, the idea is airline ticket prices usually jump in the last 2 to 3 weeks before the date of departure. So that's usually not the best time to book a cheap flight. I can definitely vouch for that. If you buy a ticket for the next day, it's going to cost you typically a lot of money. So booking as soon as possible is one of the simplest ways to ensure that you get a lowest price possible for that flight. The ideal period is basically any time between 90 and 30 days before the date of departure. There's a lot of search engines that have a price predictor algorithm that analyzes historical price trends to help predict if ticket prices will increase, decrease, or actually just remain the same. However, these predictions cannot be relied on for 100% accuracy, but they're kind of usually spot on as they crunch the numbers of thousands of different routes and flights over months and years of data. So it's easier than trying to figure it out yourself. So there is that. So thank you, technology. Number two, for a tip to grab the cheapest flight ticket, use the 24-hour airline rule to your advantage. So basically, there's a 24-hour cancellation rule that in the U.S. government has basically made it a federal law that requires any airline in the world to provide a full 100% refund for any flight that touches U.S. soil if canceled within 24 hours of booking. So even though it's specifically a U.S. law, it affects any airline that has anything to do with sending a flight to the United States. So in other words, what does that mean? Bookings done on most online platforms can be canceled within 24 hours of booking. So if you see an unbelievable deal and you're like, oh, I don't want to pass that up, grab it with the knowledge that if it's going to the United States, at least you have the ability to cancel it within 24 hours of booking it for whatever reason, apparently. And so in other words, all other traveler parameters, parameters is a tough word. After that, all other travel parameters can be explored in terms of leave application, travel partners, budget friendliness of the location. Just go ahead and, if you see it's a flight to the U.S., you're like, oh, that's unbelievably cheap, grab it. And if it doesn't work out, cancel it. But don't forget, you have only 24 hours to cancel it to get that 100% full refund. Number three, avoid weekends and peak seasons. And that's why it's really interesting to have the concept of cheap flight day for me on a Friday, because basically what you're doing there is, encouraging people to buy a ticket for the weekend. Typically, weekends and peak seasons, like probably summer vacation times, are when things are at their most expensive. Basically, what you're looking at is these times, choose any other date than those that fall within the peak season or weekends. Airlines often run high discounts just after the holiday vacation seasons, and they might differ from country to country as well. You kind of have to know the norms in wherever you want to travel to, or perhaps wherever you're leaving from. For example, a lot of people want to go on long weekend vacations, right? Therefore, air travel over long weekends usually increases substantially. If there's a 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend, in Korea, possible 5-6-day weekend sometimes, right? Because of Chuseok, Seollal, those tickets are going to be crazy expensive, right? However, airlines do typically make a great profit from the flights despite the exorbitant prices, and the same destinations tend to offer great discounts the very next day after those vacations end because most people have finished traveling and flights are more likely to go undersold. So kind of take advantage of that. If you can work out your vacation to be outside the norm for when most people are taking their vacation, you might find a really steep discount. Also, midweek flights tend to be cheaper than weekends, and that's for the same reason. A lot less flights booked. I flew back to here from the U.S. on a Monday. Yeah, Monday. I left Monday night. I had nobody sitting next to me in my row. There was a lot of open seats on the flight. You know what that meant for me? Lay down. Take a long nap. So yes, trying to not fly on the weekends can sometimes really pay off. Number 4, book flights first and the rest of the trip later. One of the most common reasons why people find airfare to be expensive is that they tend to plan and finalize all other expenses before buying the airline ticket. I do not operate that way at all, but I guess a lot of people do. Once the holiday dates, hotel bookings, amusement park tickets, blah, 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 have all been finalized, then it's really difficult to avoid spending whatever that price of the air ticket is, right? So work the other way first. Get your airline ticket first, and then think about where you're going to stay, what you want to do, and that can save you a lot of money. That's that's common sense to me. I always get my plane ticket first because I know it's going to take a big bite out of my budget. So those are our first 4 tips to grab the cheapest flight tickets. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Let's Fly Away by Doris Day, and we'll be back. And we're back with the Daily List. That song was Let's Fly Away by Doris Day to get you in the mood for flying, right? Because, a lot of people are doing that right now this time of year. And we're trying to give you some tips that can help you get some cheap flight tickets because it's hard to do, right? So number 5 on our list is to actually book 2 one-way tickets. This is something I rarely do, but I have done on occasion. And you know what? Sometimes it can work out to be better. A lot of times the airline kind of looks at the return ticket as a captive customer who has to return to the original destination, right? And this is based on strong historical data of this being the case. But return tickets turn out to be more expensive per leg sometimes compared to separate one-way tickets. So travelers should actually always search both options without assuming either one is necessarily true every time. And I can attest to this in one case. 2009, long time ago. But from Incheon, I flew to, where did I fly to? Istanbul, and then made my way by land all the way to Paris, and then flew back from Paris to Incheon as I think it was separate tickets. And it worked out to be way cheaper than it had, if I had gotten round trip tickets from one location. So check it out. Booking 2 separate one-way tickets also allows you much more flexibility and flight choices for the same trip. And you can also modify either one-way ticket at any given time without, impacting the cost of both. So that's something to think about. It has worked out for me in the past as well. Number 6, do not search for flights by destination. Sometimes if you want to find the cheapest flights, forget about what you're usually accustomed to. The typical process of booking an airline ticket and searching for the cheapest ticket for an intended destination might not always give you the cheapest ticket, right? If you switch the way that flights are searched and make the destination everywhere while searching for the cheapest tickets, you might find by entering the dates and the departure airport and leave the destination actually open, instantly you get a list of results that are cheaper to reach. So in other words, leave the destination open, but keep whatever airport you're departing from, keep that as a steady thing, and also keep in your dates that you want to go to. Keep those as specifically set, but be open to other destinations and you'll get a list of other possibilities that might work out to be way cheaper. Number 7 on the list, search with flexible dates and routes. This might not be possible every time, but this is something you could check out if you're looking to actually just get a cheap ticket, especially if you're flexible to going anywhere. Being flexible with the route can actually help you with saving more money, as well as looking for places you might not have considered, right? Typically, most people want to fly nonstop as much as possible. Certainly me here, for sure. But, I mean, that might be the fastest way to get to places usually. Sometimes taking an extra stop on the way to the final destination can pay off because you save so much money that it's worth it. And that was the case for my friends that were coming to visit here this summer, coming to Korea. They took a stop, and it wasn't a long one, but it saved them a whole lot of money coming here. So something to consider. Number 8, check out budget airlines. A lot of the small budget airlines don't figure in a lot of online travel portals. These airlines typically depend on spillover from a lot of passengers that are typically flying shorter distances. So their planes, their routes, and luxury facilities are limited. And the airlines will usually offer good deals, sometimes especially at the last minute, for their routes. So check out their websites directly to see if they have any deals or offers that they might be running. And there are a lot of budget airlines around the world, especially these days. At least one budget airline service is just about at every airport on the planet these days. So using them might mean you might have to forego some of the luxuries that you might be accustomed to, like meals and entertainment. But if you're more interested in saving money, that might be the way for you to go. That's going to do it for our daily list for today. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Popular by The Weeknd, Madonna, and Playboi Carti, and we'll be back with today's Friday Spotlight.
free 'cause you're popular.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard the song Popular by The Weeknd, Madonna, and Playboi Carti. But now it is time for the Friday Spotlight. And this Friday, I'm going to spotlight some musicians from Changwon in a band called Paper River. They're a 4-piece group that formed in Changwon in 2015. Is that possible? Wow. Okay, cool. So they've been at it for a little while. And I finally had the chance to see them perform last month. They opened a show here in Busan for Seisumi in the Gyeongseongdae area, and it was an excellent show. I was so happy I finally got the chance to see them, and they let me bother them and interview them a little bit. So we're going to take a quick listen to our first interview clip with Paper River. I'm here with Paper River. I'm in a car, and it's very comfortable. Tell me your name and what instrument you play.
저는 신가람이고 기타를 치고 있습니다.
저는 유희원이고 트럼펫을 연주합니다.
저는 노래와 기타를 하는 정한슬입니다.
저는 건반을 연주하고 코러스를 하고 있는 김은영입니다.
Cool. Everybody answers that in Korean. Nice. Cool. When did you start and how did you start playing together?
제가 저는 일러스트 작가인데 그림책을 만들게 되었고 그 그림책에 들어갈 음악을 위해서 이 밴드를 만들었는데 처음에는 희원이랑 저랑 같이 시작했다가 이제 제가 한 사람씩 모아서 시작하게 됐습니다.
When Garam asked you to start the band, what was your idea? Was it just like a short time project or did you think, "Ooh, I want to do this for a long time"?
It was short time project. 솔직히 무슨 노래를 해야 할지 어떤 음악을 해야 할지 잘 몰랐지만 그냥 이 사람이랑 같이 하면 재밌는 걸 할 수 있을 것 같다는 확신이 들었어요.
그래서 그때부터 그냥 계속 했어요.
네, 이유 없이 그냥 하자는 대로 계속 했던 것 같고 지금도 마찬가지예요. 그냥 재밌어서 하고 있어요.
So how did these two join the band?
Ask her.
Okay, so how did you join the band after that?
근데 제가 제일 마지막에 들어왔으니까 사실 둘이서 시작하고 그 다음에 은영이 언니가 들어왔고 그래서 3인조로 하면서 은영이 언니가 노래도 하고 기타도 치고 그랬는데 제일 마지막에 제가 들어와서 그 포지션을 바꾸게 됐어요.
So Eunyoung started with guitar first and then you changed to keyboard. Okay, and how was that a big change for you, or did you like that change, or how did you feel about that?
사실 처음에 저는 기타를 전혀 칠 줄 몰랐기 때문에 가라 오빠가 만들어 놓은 노래에 아주 간단한 기타 코드를 오빠 가르쳐 주는 대로만 심지어 기타를 가지고 있지도 않았기 때문에 오빠가 이제 다른 밴드에서 빌려온 기타로 연주를 하면서 그렇게 연습을 하면서 하다가 이제 한슬이가 오게 되면서 사실 저는 원래 주 메인 악기가 건반이었기 때문에 이제 한결 편해졌죠.
Did you learn piano or did you learn keyboards when you were younger or when did you start that?
I was 6 years old for the first time. Yeah.
Did you want to learn piano or did your mom make you learn piano?
Actually, I loved it. Also, and my mom also recommended me to play the piano.
둘 다.
둘 다. Did your mom recommend piano like this? Piano 해.
Almost.
I understand recommend. I understand. And when did you start guitar?
고등학교 때? 고등학교 때 그 엉클밥이라는 밴드 같이 하는
어떤 밴드?
엉클밥 하는 그 순천이 형한테 기타를 배우고 그때부터 시작하게 됐습니다.
Why did you start in high school?
반에서 친구가 누가 기타를 버리고 갔다. 그래서 너 가질래? 해서 제가 가져와서 그걸로 아무 연주나 하면서 시작하게 된 것 같아요.
Hyun, when did you start learning the trumpet?
When I was 17 years old in high school.
Why did you start trumpet when you were 17?
윈드 오케스트라라는 게 학교에 있었는데 음악 선생님이 넌 손이 작으니까 트럼펫 해라. 잘할 수 있을 거라고 말해줘서 그냥 시작했는데 생각보다 재밌는 악기더라고요. 트럼펫이 원래는 뭔지도 몰랐어요.
Do you have like a favorite trumpet player now, or somebody that you're kind of like, ooh, I would like to play like this person?
I love Miles Davis. He is cool.
Isn't that one of his album names, like King of Cool or Birth of Cool? Like, I don't know. Why is he cool?
마일스 데이비스의 자유로운 음악에 빠졌고 전 클래식 전공을 했지만 클래식에만 국한되지 않고 자유로운 음악들을 하고 싶어서 마일스 데이비스를 보면서 영감을 많이 얻었어요.
And when did you start playing guitar?
페이퍼 리버 들어왔을 때
What was your first instrument that you played then?
피아노.
You don't play piano anymore, or you do?
정말 가끔씩 필요할 때만 치고 있어요, 지금은. 뭔가 누군가의 노래를 커버하고 싶거나 뭐 어떤 노래를 만들고 싶을 때.
All right, so that was the first interview clip with Paper River, and as you could hear, it started out as a book project originally with just two of the members, and then they just enjoyed playing together, and they just kept playing until now, and they've made a lot of music since then. They all had a variety of reasons for starting music. Sometimes mom said, hey, why don't you start the piano? Or sometimes maybe somebody was throwing away a guitar and it just happened to fall into someone's lap and they just kept playing at their instruments. The name Uncle Bob was mentioned during the interview as another fantastic band from, I think, Masan side of Changwon, actually. So Uncle Bob's another recommendation. But we're going to take a listen to a song from Paper River called Little Bird. This is from their album YY from 2020. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard Little Bird by Paper River. And on that song, you heard Shin Garam on guitar, Yoo Hee-won on trumpet, Jung Han-sul on guitar and vocals, and Kim Eun-young on keyboard and backing vocals. And we got another clip from the interview I'd like to play for you now. Take a listen. Is there some musician or band or performer that you saw and you were like, oh, I want to play music too?
너무 많아요. 뭐 XX도 있을 거고 뭐 피닉스, 뭐 다프트 펑크, 킹스 오브 컨비니언스, 뭐 얼랜도 오어, 화이티스 보이 얼라이브.
특히 어떤 장르 좋아서 원래?
요즘은 그러니까 유럽의 오래된 음악들 그런 음악 많이 듣고 예전엔 팝 그냥 팝이라고 하면 제일 편하니까.
What band made you want to play music?
가람 작가님을 통해서 알게 된 Kings of Convenience라는 팀이 저에게는 페이퍼 리버의 약간 뿌리가 되는 음악이었던 것 같다고 생각하게 됐고 그래서 자주 듣고 있어요.
제일 처음 그렇게 느끼게 해준 밴드는 콜드플레이. 중학생 때부터 좋아했어가지고 뭔가 팝적인 거랑 락적인 거를 동시에 느낄 수 있으니까.
사실 저도 가람 오빠를 만나기 전까지는 저도 음악을 대학에서 계속 공부를 했지만 사실 진짜 내가 하고 싶은 게 뭔지 못 찾고 있다가 오빠를 만나고 음악을 같이 하게 되면서 사실 오빠가 준 어떤 음악 파일들이 있었어요. 한 200곡 정도 되나? 그거를 휴대폰에 넣어서 맨날 듣고 다녔었는데 이제 거기에 있는 음악들의 대부분이 뭐 아까 오빠가 말했던 화이티스트 보이 얼라이브도 있었고 뭐 얼랜드 음악이랑 이제 뭐 XX도 있었고 그다음에 킹스 오브 컨비니언스도 있었고 그러니까 그런 음악들 좀 제가 찾아 듣지 않았던 음악을 듣게 되면서 이게 확실히 많이 확장이 됐었던 것 같아요.
Do you think your music is more not Korean, or do you think there's like not another band in Korea that plays this kind of music?
우리도 늘 했던 생각인 것 같아요. 저희랑 비슷한 결의 밴드가 잘 없어서 우리가 좀 다른가? 그렇다면 외국에서 먹히는 밴드인가? 라고 생각을 했는데 잘 모르죠. 어떻게 될지 아무도 모르죠.
Do you guys agree that there's like maybe kind of a European influence in your sound?
음악을 만들 때 영감을 받는 부분이 아마 그 북부 쪽에 있는 나무라든지 햇빛이라든지 물 색깔이라든지 물 결이라든지 그런 쪽에 영향을 받아서 북쪽 하면 이제 유럽 쪽에 북쪽에 있는 뭔가 어떤 정확한 나라의 이름은 모르겠지만 하여튼 그런 가보지는 못했지만 그런 거가 섞여 있는 것 같아요 저희 음악에.
What is your dream for this band? Like what do you really want to do?
저는 저희 모두가 할머니 할아버지가 되어서 백발의 머리를 하고 그 아주 촌스러운 옷들과 노인스러운 모습을 하고 페이퍼 리버 곡들을 전부 다 연주하는 그런 콘서트를 하고 싶어요.
저도 이 음악이 삶이랑 함께 가는 음악을 하고 싶지 유명해지고 뭔가 어떤 목표를 뭐 페스티벌이라든지 뭐 그런 쪽에 둔다기보다 삶이랑 함께 쭉 가는 음악을 하고 싶은 게 제 목표.
저는 페스티벌 나가고 싶은데요. 나가서 이제 사람들을 다 재워놓고 시작을 하는 거지. 얼마나 좋을까.
근데 저 진짜 신기한 게 또 똑같은 생각을 했어요. 그러니까 음악이 사실 우리 음악이 엄청 몇 년 전에 만들어진 음악들도 있는데 나이가 먹어가면서 음악이 점점 이렇게 우리 나이 늙어가는 것처럼 변하고 있는 게 있어서 나중에 우리가 60살, 70살이 됐을 때 우리 음악이 어떻게 익어 있을지 그게 너무 궁금해요.
Everybody's from Changwon. Do you guys like to play in Busan?
좋아해요. 부산에 되게 좋은 리스너들 많아서 좋아하고 좋은 공연장 베뉴도 많고 좋은 기획의 공연도 많고 뭐 일단 이번 달이랑 다음 달이랑 예정 있습니다.
Thank you so much for your time, and I loved your concert today. I'm glad I got to finally see it. Sorry, I'm always late. Sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, that was the second part of my interview with Paper River in there, and you could hear the name Kings of Convenience mentioned quite a bit as an influence and a band that they like. And it turns out Shin Garam also, as an artist, he has designed, I found a t-shirt he's designed for Kings of Convenience, and I think he's done some like poster artwork for them as well. So there's definitely a connection between those two bands. However, if you want to see Paper River very soon, you can do so. This Sunday, they're going to be playing at Avant-Garde here in Busan. They're going to be playing with Masumoto Kota from Japan, as well as Lee Sa-hul. And that show's going to start at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5 p.m. It is a limited first-come, first-served basis. They're only allowing 50 people in to watch the performance. I highly recommend you be one of those 50 people. So if you want to check out further information for that, do a quick search for Masumoto Kota, Paper River, and Lee Sa-heul. And I highly recommend that show this Sunday. We're going to listen to one more song for Paper River. This is 동그라미 from their album Where There Was from 2022.
뜨거운 해는 붉은 얼굴을 감추며 곧 어두워지네. 어두운 밤이 푸른 눈빛을 감추며 곧 밝아져오네. Think you have it all, you are wrong. You don't know anything, you are wrong, 'cause you're wrong. I can't say you, why did you come all the way here? I can't say you, are you here to find what you missed? 낮은 물결은 높이 비늘을 감추며 곧 어두워지네. 낡은 기타는 갈색 저음을 감추며 곧 밝아져오네. Did you miss this dream? But don't knock on me. I can't answer you, 'cause you're wrong, 'cause you're wrong, 'cause you're wrong. 뜨거운 해는 붉은 얼굴을 감추며 곧 어두워지네. 어두운 밤이 푸른 눈빛을 감추며 곧 밝아져오네. 어두운 밤이 푸른 눈빛을 감추며 곧 밝아져오네. 이제 곧 이제 곧
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard the song 동그라미 by Paper River, and now it is time for our perfect playlist. We do this every Monday through Friday. We play songs based on a theme, and this week the theme has been songs about freedom. And we're going to play one last song for that playlist for this week. This week, our ender for the Songs About Freedom is a song called I'm Set Free by the Velvet Underground. That's kind of a nice transition from Paper River. This song by the Velvet Underground has remained popular since its release over 50 years ago on their third album, which was released in 1969. It's simple, it's got a catchy melody, and it's underpinned by a driving beat that encourages listeners to sing along. See if you can sing along as well. The lyrics are also accessible, not always the case with the Velvet Underground. They speak to the universal themes of liberation and freedom. Despite its optimistic message, the song also contains a hint of melancholy, which is not unusual for them. That gives it the added depth and resonance, and is this combination of elements that has helped to make I'm Set Free one of the most enduring songs of the last century. So enjoy I'm Set Free by the Velvet Underground. You're listening to the 2 p.m. Reboot, and that last song was I'm Set Free by the Velvet Underground off their third album. I highly recommend it. In case you've never heard it, it's a classic for sure. And that's going to do it for today's perfect playlist. And I appreciate all the messages I got for the question of the day today. I've got a couple more answers I'd like to share really quick. The question was, if you get a plane ticket with a 90% discounted price, where would you like to go? 3258 Nim says, my choice is Ireland and Scotland. Years ago, I went to Cambridge, the UK, and stayed there for a month. I did want to go to Scotland, but I was a poor student and had no money to waste. I thought then. It was winter. You know how harsh the wintry weather is in the UK. I don't know, but I can guess. Now, if I could go there again and go to Scotland and even to Ireland, just imagining it makes me feel so excited. And 3258 Nim, I think that was the point of us asking the question, to get people excited about the idea of travel. Also, Ben Nim giving us an answer as well. He would take a route with stopovers in all the world's 249 countries, including the 193 UN member states. And that's the cool thing. When you've got money that is accessible, right? When you got money you can use to buy a ticket, you can actually afford it, you can do whatever you want. If you want to just go to one particular place and stay and chill, cool. But if you want to go all over the world and stop everywhere possible, there you go. Ben also says he would, because I guess the 90% discount, he would cut the 193 countries to a number that fits a $990 US budget or less, but hotel stays included. Okay, so yeah, reality too. You got to think about where to stay as well, right? You can't just stay in the airport, right? I think there was that movie with Tom Hanks doing that. It didn't look like a pleasant experience. Thank you for all your messages today. I appreciate it. And thanks for joining us on the show here today. I've been your host, Casey McKeever. We're going to be back, of course, tomorrow at 2:05 p.m. We're going to play one more song for you. Soak Up the Sun by Sheryl Crow. That's a good way to finish the week out. And please stay tuned for Your Busan.